Hey friends, I'm Rachna and I'm back with a new lesson. Today's lesson is the most common confusing word pairs part 2. I'm sure you watched the previous lesson and thank you for your lovely, wonderful comments. I really liked it. So today I have a few more word pairs and I'll be back in a minute to explain you. So here I have the first word pair for you, practice and practice. So practice with a CE and practice with an SE. Let's see what does practice with a CE mean. It is something that you do habitually. So for example, her dance practice is at 6 in the evening. Well, her dance practice, probably you go for your singing practice. I'm sure you've heard that proverb, practice makes a man perfect. Well, so here practice is a noun. As there are many types of practices. Doctors practice, well you practice, you do your singing practice. So when you say practice makes a man perfect, the practice with a CE is a noun. The pronunciation of practice with a C has a soft S, so it is practice. I'm sure this word is clear to you now. Let's take a look at practice with an SE. Well, here practice with an SE means to do something repeatedly. So you keep on practicing something, probably your math sums or probably your cooking skills. Yeah, so you keep on practicing something repeatedly to gain skill. For example, she is practicing for her dance competition. So here she is actually doing the action of practicing for her dance competition. That means she is dancing. She is practicing her dance. So here practice is a verb because it shows the actual action of doing something, and all verbs have three forms. So you have practice in the present, practiced in the past, and practiced in the past participle. Well, the pronunciation of this is same as the one with the CE. It's a soft S. So it's practice and practice. So friends, remember, practice with a CE is a noun and practice with an SE is a verb. But well, many times I have read on blogs and newspapers, nowadays people use this as a verb too. This is because of the word war between the UK and the US. So I'm sure this word pair is clear to you. Practice with a C is a noun, but it is also used as a verb nowadays, and practice with an SE is a verb. Now let's take a look at the second word pair. Let's move on to the second word pair, lose and lose. So lose, L-O-S-E. To be unable to retain, or sometimes you misplace something, so you lose something. Let's take a look at the example. Don't lose these documents. That means don't misplace them. Now here, lose is a verb because it shows the action of misplacing something or not being able to retain something. And every verb has three forms. So this is the present lose, lost in the past, and lost the past participle. This is one of the most confusing word pairs because generally people don't know how to use lose with OSC and OOSE. So here lose is a verb and takes the OO sound like lose. In this, the second word with the OOSE is something that doesn't fit right, something that's very loose, or something, for example, your shirt is very loose, you don't buy your size, you buy a bigger size, so it's very loose. It is not fitting correctly. For example, I wear loose cotton clothes in the summer. That means I'm not wearing my size, I'm wearing a bigger size, so it's very loose. Or say for example, the leg of the chair is loose. That means it's not rigid, it's not tight, it's not perfectly fitting. So it is loose. Here, loose is an adjective because it describes something of not fitting in the proper manner. The pronunciation is same as this with an OO sound. Many people often make mistakes while writing. Instead of saying, don't worry, you won't lose the match, they actually write this lose, which is not correct. So I hope the second word pair, lose and lose, is clear now. This brings us to the third word pair, your and your. Now what is your? This is you apostrophe re. Basically the pronoun you plus the verb are makes it a contraction, your. So for example, you're going to the market. That means you are going to the market. But when we contract them, we don't say them as two separate words like you are. We say your. You're playing cricket. So you're playing cricket. So here you is a pronoun and are is the verb, which becomes your. Now this sounds very similar or almost same to this your. So let's take a look at this your. Your means something that belongs to you, or you want to say this is yours. We use the word your. This your is a possessive adjective. As it describes something that belongs to you. For example, that's your phone. So that is your phone, your. It is yours. Okay. So friends, this pair is very confusing because they both sound similar. So we often write this your. For example, you're coming with me. So it is not this your, it is this your. But when you say that is your book or this is your pen, this is your, that is a possessive adjective. Okay, now let's put both these words in one sentence. You're watching this video on your PC. So you are the pronoun and the verb. You are watching this video on your PC. The PC belongs to you, so your PC. I'm sure this word pair is clear now and you've understood the difference between your, that is you apostrophe re said as one word your, and the second word that's a possessive adjective, your. Now we'll move on to the fourth word pair. Let's move on to the fourth word pair, week and week. So there is W-E-E-K and W-E-A-K. The first week with the double E is a period of 7 days. So a new week begins on Sunday and ends on Saturday. That makes it 7 days. So for example, I go to the church every week. That means once a week or once in 7 days I go to the church. Or you have a magazine and that comes out every week. So once a week, once in 7 days. So friends, week with the double E is once in 7 days and it takes the sound of a double E. This week is a noun. Now let's take a look at W-E-A-K, week. Well, you work too hard, you're tired, you're not feeling well, so you feel very weak. Okay. For example, antibiotics make you feel weak. So you're lower on energy, on power or stamina. So you feel weak. This week has the same pronunciation as this week with a double E. But this week is an adjective as it describes you of being low on energy. Okay. Now a lot of people get confused and use this week for this and vice versa. So friends, remember this week is a noun that means a period of 7 days and this week is an adjective that describes you of being low on energy or power, and W-E-A-K is feeling weak or tired. Okay, so this brings us to the last word pair in this lesson. Then and then. Then and then. When to use what and why? A lot of people get confused when to use then and when to use than. So let's take a look at then. Then means something that happens later, like after some time or afterwards. For example, I watched the late movie and then went to bed. So first I watched the movie and after watching the movie, I went to bed. Okay, so here then is an adverb as it shows something relating to time, like afterwards. Let's take a look at another example. The then Prime Minister. Now I am talking about a person who was a Prime Minister in the past. So the then Prime Minister here, because it describes someone of being the Prime Minister in the past, it is an adjective. Okay, so after an hour, it's going to be time for me to go home. My friend is getting his car, but I have to wait until then. So here the then used shows the moment that I have to wait for, and this is a noun. So basically then, that is THEN, has a soft E, then, and it is used as an adverb, an adjective or a noun depending on how it is used in a sentence. Now let's take a look at than. Okay, so basically than is used when you want to bring about a comparison between two things, two people, two places, but friends, remember, only two. So for example, green tea is healthier than coffee. So instead of having coffee, it's better to have green tea. So than here is used, say for example, instead of. So green tea and coffee, two things, than is used to bring about a comparison between only two things. Here than is a conjunction. Okay, now let's say for example, I use this than here. So I watched the late movie and then went to bed. Does it sound correct? Of course not. I'm not comparing anything. So I cannot use than. But well, a lot of people do get confused and use than in a wrong manner. Similarly, I cannot say green tea is healthier than coffee. Well, I can say that I had green tea and then I had coffee. So after having green tea, I had coffee. Now, here this is correct, but I cannot say green tea is healthier than coffee. This is wrong. Well, friends, I'm sure this is clear to you now, the difference between then and than. And this brings me to the end of this lesson. I hope you liked it, and please put in your comments and queries if any, and I'm going to be back very soon. Till then, take care and bye.